So once we get the plate ready, we're ready to go to the presswork stage. Before we can start operating the press, we've got to have paper to print on. So this stage is called preparing press sheets. I've got on the screen the paper cutting calculations, and even though it might look a little complicated, it's just a little simple division. What we're trying to do is figure out the most efficient way to cut the press sheet size needed out of the parent sheet size provided. Commercial printing companies buy paper in large sheets, so it gives them more options about different types of jobs that they can produce. For instance, if they bought everything at 8.5 by 11 and a customer came in and they wanted a 12 by 18 job, well, obviously they don't have the paper. There's no such thing as paper stretcher, so you got to go buy bigger sheets. And so what a lot of companies do is they buy bigger sheets, so that gives them more flexibility on the types of jobs that they can produce. A lot of bigger commercial printers will order paper at 24 by 36 or 23 by 35 and be able to cut the paper down to whatever size that they may need. So the textbook has, I believe, on page 358, some more information about how to do the paper cutting calculations, but pretty much what you see on the screen is the simple division, and you can look at the press sheets required versus the parent sheet provided. That we're looking to calculate how many 4x6 press sheets can we get out of a 12 by 18 parent sheet. Through the simple math, we can divide 4 into 12 3 times evenly and 6 into 18 3 times evenly. So that means we should yield 9 sheets out of a 12 by 18 sheet. If we take 9 divided into 250 required, that will give us the number of parent sheets that are needed. And so you can see the one on the left, it divides in evenly, so there is no waste. If we divide it the other way, where we take the 4, divide that into 18, and we take the 6 and divide it into 12, you can see we get 8 sheets out with some remainder, which you can't have a remainder of a sheet of paper, so that becomes waste. Paper is sold by the weight. So the more efficient you are on a bigger job, certainly, the more efficient you're going to be, and the more accurate, the cheaper you're going to be able to price that particular job. So paper cutting calculations they are important in order to provide the most efficiency. So study that on page 358. That's just a quick diagram to see how that works, and then we'll move on to the presswork phase. So once we get the paper press sheets prepared, we're ready to go to the presswork stage. In this next segment, we're going to be looking at plate loading and printing on the Heidelberg QM46. This is a small 2-color offset press. We're only printing with 1 color, since that's what the project called for. And you don't see a lot of these machines anymore because they have been replaced by digital equipment, and we certainly wouldn't want to print a business card just one up like we're doing on this, but it serves its purpose to understand how production works. So we're going to take our press sheets. There's our 4x6 press sheets, and we're going to lower the feeder side of the press, lower that with the little paper elevator crank, and then we're going to load the paper into the feeder system. It uses air to separate the top few sheets of paper in a vacuum system to just kind of grab one sheet at a time to send it through the press. And so once we get that up to the right position, we'll be able to move on to plate loading. And so here's the control panel of the press. So I'm going to press the plate load button. You can see that light up, and it's going to spin around. It's going to make a bunch of noise, and you're going to hear kind of a little popping sound that will allow us to load the plate that we produced earlier into the plate loading system. So here we are loading it into the plate loading system. It's the semi-automatic plate loading system where it kind of loads it onto the plate cylinder for you. I press the plate load button again, and it automatically wraps around to the plate cylinder. We're going to kind of get into the actual run side, where I'm going to punch in my quantity of 250. And we go to the start button, and we double click that button, and the press fires up. The rollers are going to come in contact with the plate, and they're off and running. So it's starting to drop sheets here, and with offset printing there's some waste, and so I'm just going to run a few sheets just to kind of show you what it looks like after about 5 or 10 sheets. Once we inspect this and decide that it's in good enough quality. Now I've got blue ink on the press, that's why I just left that on there, but this is just the first what we call make ready sheets, and we're good to go. We would just let the job run after that.